Amazing Astronaut reporting in.
And hello, lords and ladies of the internet. I'm the King of Candor. Today, we're teaming up to talk about one of the most popular modern fantasy comics, Pathfinders, Dark Waters Rising.
Pathfinder Volume 1, Dark Waters Rising is the opening arc from Dynamite in the year 2013. Written by Jim Sub and art by Andrew, the story follows a set of characters on their first adventure together outside of a town called Sandpoint, as they are hired to kill some goblins for a standard bounty. But then, the mystery deepens as they discover these are not ordinary goblins.
So, from the summary, we can see many very cool things for the Pathfinder fans. Starting with the characters, all of the heroes are the iconics from the tabletop game. The iconics are basically the main character art for each class. For example, the iconic fighter here is a human male named Valeros. We will go into detail about them later.
The characters are certainly a bit interesting. All of the characters talk the same. Thank you, Buffy. Two of the characters, Sione and Mauricio, I got kind of mixed up with, since they have similar designs of build, hair, and skin tone. I also noticed how their personality, Valerios, a brutish fighter and a man who enjoys beer, a classic archetype. Mauricio, the character with the most development. This elf rogue grew up with humans, which led to her not being content with her life. Kyra, a shy cleric who follows the god Serere, which is some sort of light and peace god. Harsk, a dwarf. Wasn't obvious, I know. Ranger, who loves walks in the forest, and the only cool thing he did was in the bonus story Goblins, which we don't really talk about in this review. Sione, a sorcerer, who I'm shocked is actually a human. Her personality is her tattoos. Yeah, not much to say about this one. Ezren, an old wizard who loves knowledge and reading and being distanced from his party members. He will also bring up the Pathfinder Chronicles at every opportunity.
Yeah, I find it great how the iconics are represented here. They capture their characterization as it was in 2012 very well. I think it's funny how the druid iconic is teased like, oh boy, Linley's here, and now she's gone. Felt super weird to just have her show up, say she can't help anyone, and leave. Also, it is absolutely hysterical Ezrin keeps bringing up the Pathfinder Society stuff. That is the name for the actual play events that the company hosts. So imagine Ant-Man being like, guys, we need to record what Ultron said so we can add it to the comic later. It's quite funny. I also think they did Harsk a little dirty here. He's got this epic backstory about how he and his brother got drunk while giant hunting, and that's how his brother got killed, so now Harsk only drinks tea. It shows up once, but no one comments on the tea thing, which I feel like is one of the many missed character opportunities in this first comic.
Story. Here be spoilers. Very simple story. Much stronger back half. Every issue had a battle set piece, mostly goblins. Issue 1 starts directly off with the ball-bursting action with Valeros, Sione, and Mauricio slaughtering the goblins before lunch. After that, the group goes to Sandpoint to meet up with Ezrin, who mentions the goblins are acting far more bold and dangerous to the city than ever before. The group stays the night at an inn/bar with plenty of alcohol and discussions of background lore. Fluff. Cue fun bar fight to show off the main tree's skill set, with the aftermath being Valerios puking the day after. So much puke. During this, meet up with a Mediterranean Kyra, who does not like getting her prayers interrupted. As a short scene, she does not join the party right away. So probably could have changed that so to be more economical to the story.
As a cleric, she's supposed to help people, but she's a bit angry for a typical cleric. Instead of talking about her beliefs and personality, she comes off as needlessly hostile. And the thing about this is especially strange because her goddess is about helping people. I understand what they're going for here, but I think adding some softness, especially after he apologizes, would help.
Ezrin recruits Harsk, who is the guide of the group. He barely got his story arc.
Which I also find strange. As a ranger, he has expert tracking abilities and should be way more knowledgeable on these things, especially since he claims to be a local goblin expert.
but he does analyze the goblin corpse and notes there is some strange magic and diseases at work. Another thing to note is that having a ranger and a wizard seems a bit overkill at this stage of the story, because both can detect this type of thing. They begin their travels and suddenly during the night an insane goblin horde attacks. The end of issue 1 has Valerios jumping toward the reader. A nice mirror to the beginning of the issue and the creative team's thesis statement on the series. Issue 2. The Foolish Valerios, Eros, has begun a battle in which the others need to back him up or the entire group would perish. Issue 2 also has the most varied art in terms of construction and coloring. Mage Girl. We have surprise and flashy attacks. After several pages of fighting, Kyra pops up again because A, her god asked her to, and B, we only have 6 issues to story arc. The heroes go to town hall and learn of a grand reward. Money. And if they solve the goblin problem, they get it. Our heroes also reintroduce themselves to the reader just to make everything super clear. I think this is the weakest point of the writing in the story. It feels unnatural to do this in the second issue, especially this early in the second issue.
Yeah, reintroducing them after only 1 issue feels strange. I'm not really sure why they did it this way.
I do like the character moment that Kyra has the largest amount of dialogue and did not allow someone else to speak for her. On the stroll, we learn more about her god's background, then some lame back and forth about how Ezrin hates pickles. The team enter Shank's Wood. They sneak around and find a bunch of cultists. King, who the hell are these people?
They are cultists of Lamashtu, an evil mother goddess. They eventually explain it a bit, but the comic leaves everything so vague it's disappointing. For comic readers, I would describe her like the High Evolutionary, where she's constantly making monsters to fill the world.
Who evolve the goblins into something more sinister. Legendary Super Saiyan Goblin 2. Kyra jumps into action due to the heresy of this evil magic. He with the team getting into another brawl, an odd mirror to the fighter of the group's splash pages so far. Villains escape with a huge smoke bomb, except of course for one. And the big reveal of this issue is a pregnant lady with a Lovecraft god in her belly.
Which is a major letdown. She's supposed to be the mother of all evil creatures, and the way it's shown is very H.P. Lovecraft. It needs more uniquely grotesque stuff, like how the Minotaur is created in real life. A personal suggestion I have would be make it more of a monster mash, like having the features of several different creatures shown being melded together, such as maybe a scaly claw leading into a furry arm, or a bunch of sharp teeth dripping with venom that goes back into like a turtle mouth.
Dupree has our group interrogate the cultists for info. All the characters are a bit grumpy due to the events of the last issue. The gang questions more to the cultists for info in the dank caves. After a little bit, most of the gang exits the room to sleep, except for the elf, Maisel. She talks about her backstory as mentioned in the characters section of the video, and the dark cultist tries to leverage this backstory to make her break from the group.
This is some writing I love. I get it's an action comic, but seeing the characters interact is what makes the action so much cooler. It adds some gravitas to when later they will have to deal with the cultist.
In the dark and stormy morning, the group has to start saving time by skipping meals. The group enters Pauper's Graves, an area destined for showdown. Ghouls attack. How shocking. No one could have expected this. I suppose that is a negative of translating a board game story to a comic story. The energy of a dungeon master with voice and cadence is lost in a medium where you have to read out the story.
This is something I thought about as well. What's even more fascinating is the extra content at the end has better setups for a lot of these things. We'll cover the extra content later though, don't worry.
And decide the pacing for yourself. The ghouls seem to fight and get the upper hand. In the background, Kyra was preparing a blessing to do a Dragon Ball Z move. After the battle, the party finds the cultist being paralyzed due to the bad touch.
Yeah, that's one of the signature abilities of the ghouls. If they touch you, you are paralyzed. What's strange is there's a whole lot of touching during these fights with no repercussions. I suppose only the ghouls' fingers hold the power, but that's never clear in the tabletop.
At night, at a campfire, Mauricio speaks to the paralyzed man about the nature of the universe, such as alignment and a 9-drop of the title of the arc. The elf gets mad and does a Batman tease of killing the dwarf. Later, they all start to move again. Kyra and Mauricio talk about the universe, but focus more on the gods. And the last page is a giant spider uncovered by the dwarf guide. Issue 4 gets right into the spider-killing action. Halfway through the issue, a green woman named Leanie shows up to save the day. I can tell this is a cameo of some sort, but I'm not attuned to Pathfinder lore, which is why King is here.
Yeah, I mentioned her in the character section briefly. This whole part of the comic is super weird. She's the druid iconic character and is pretty well loved in the community. They didn't need the cultist for much, and I think they only kept him around so he could die here and show off how cool Lindley is, the gnome. It's a very strange choice in my opinion. I would have just saved her for a different issue and killed off the cultist with the ghouls.
Everything is solved, but the cultist dies. Maisel does some flirting with Valerios, bald, and Kara thinks about that of her on the next page. Leanie leaves because she is overpowered and there are plenty of characters in the group already. Probably the weakest issue that relied on its guest star too much to get things done. The group enters a swamp and gets into a fight. But this time most of them get captured. Goblin W, except for Mauricio, echoing what the cultist said. Issue 5 was very much the we did not develop the characters enough, so time for a speed run issue. The elf is sad and tracks the goblins to their queen. The evil queen mistress, Etania, uses the waters of Lama Shitu to activate the flashbacks.
I think we should quickly run through each backstory. Hit the highlights, and then say if we liked it, thought it was meh, or disliked it.
Valados becomes a fighter because he did not want to follow his family values. Ranking? Astro. Meh.
I think Valeros is the most underserved character in Pathfinder. For some reason, they give him the most lame and basic backstory elements. He worships the god of drinking and partying. How is that not mentioned? I agree, it's meh.
Sione was an orphan as a child and learned magic on the streets. Meh.
She wasn't really orphaned. Her family were more like gypsies or Native Americans, moving between societies and around the land until they were killed one day. The part about her rituals to get her power is super neat, and I think it's a good backstory overall.
Harsk did not like the dwarven culture of violence and was an outsider to his own people. Meh.
Harsk has the coolest backstory, but it's barely hinted at here. He is a dwarf, and unlike other dwarfs, preferring the forest and nature to stone. His brother is killed from his own failing, and this failure caused Harsk to be afraid of committing to others. I think it's a great backstory, but underutilized here.
Ezrin grew up with privilege and loss, did all so he became obsessed with knowledge and being a Pathfinder, slightly above meh.
Ezrin is butchered a lot here. His backstory is, he's the middle child of a noble family who kind of does his best. Then one day his father is found guilty of being a cultist, and Ezrin fights tooth and nail to prove he's innocent, only to find out his father's actually guilty. Ezrin feels he's wasted his entire life and sets out to accomplish new great deeds. I think this is a fantastic backstory.
Kyra at a young age was obsessed with the god Serere and had to give up earthly desires. Meh.
Kyra was taught in the church of Serenre from a young age and was awed by its beauty. She didn't do much outside of learning until bandits came and burned the place down, killing her family. Now she wanders the world doing good. I think it's a pretty meh backstory as well.
Having a flashback for most of the cast of just 2 to 3 pages is punishing to the story's flow and the character's strengths.
So overall, I thought the backstories were pretty good but needed some work. All of them had very poor presentation in this comic.
Eternia brags for a bit and then gives birth to the Silent Hill final boss. Boom! Maisel breaks everyone out just in time for a final boss battle.
I also want it noted that Valeros is once again jumping into the fray. This time he's doing so to buy his friends time to escape. He's basically sacrificing himself, and that tells you a lot about his character.
Issue 6, the final issue of the Dark Waters Rising story arc. Also, so much green. I can't stress how much green there is. A whole lot of well-executed fighting and shouting. Their attacks ensue. Merciel calls the demon bloated bitch is hilarious. Harsk has a standout moment of going head-on to the demon to protect his friends. Corny, I know. The group finds their weapons. Woo! Kyra and Sione prep their magic to do a final strike on the beast. Valerios gets everyone else to charge to increase the party's chances to win. And Miraciel does a final head sword in the stone trick to finish it off. After battle is some banter and Sione talking to Ezran about what he will put in the Pathfinder report. The issue ends with some partying and drinking and the ending teaser of a bigger Lovecraft monster, which is cliche but understandable. You have to have some sort of hook to get readers to read the next book. Hey, that rhymed. The art is so cool. It's similar to Joe Mad / Ryan Stegman style of art. No idea what to call it. Street Fighter-esque, 90s image but good-esque. You can even see the pencil line on some panels. Such insane coloring details as well. Everything is easy to understand visually and consume. Side note for lettering, I felt the texture effect for the paper captions was very dark to try in contrast with black text.
I love the art myself. I wouldn't know the exact style to call it, but I think it fits very well with the Pathfinder art aesthetic. I like the dirtier colors it has, making you really feel how rough and messy adventuring can be. This is why soap comes in all adventuring packs after all.
Lore. So this is why I brought King into this video. He is the most knowledgeable person I know about Pathfinder lore, and how well it all lines up. Any comments so far, other than the ones you've already made?
Overall, I would say it does a pretty good job with the lore. It has some very strange things, though. The town of Sandpoint and the storyline about it being attacked by goblins, which leads to a larger threat about a cult summoning forth an evil threat, is the same. I would say it rhymes more than rips off itself, though.
Yeah, that gets mentioned in the interview from ICV2, linked below. Eric Mona and Jim Zub talk about how they wanted to appeal to new fans, but also include some Easter eggs for the old ones.
Yeah, I'm personally not a fan of that. I would rather have had this either a straight adaptation or a totally new story. This weird half-meshing means we lose some of the iconic scenes from the adventures, such as the Glass Factory, but we still get the trash heap scenes. It's like it's living under the shadow of itself.
Extras. Woo boy, there are a ton. There are character sheets, maps, adventures. This book was super tailored to fans of the game. Paizo and Dynamite knew their target audience.
And that's what I find so strange. This issue was written in a way that it's supposed to be for new fans and outsiders, yet includes material that you need to be a game master to use. And a lot of the places you actually start out in are ones you probably already have a lot of details on, since they started the Rise of the Rune Lords adventure path. Absolutely astounded they would cover such a famous area, not do the main story there, but then also rip it off. It would be like going to Planet Hulk and having our team go stop a bandit across the world, who's never mentioned again, but also has an arena that he runs, and it's just resolved.
Reviews and thoughts? Summary time. Writing is basic, not offensive, to allow the art room to shine and for proper pacing. Coloring was always clear and did not mess with the readability of the art. Lettering was good as well, with the only weak point being the scraps of paper texture making the text slowly hard to read. I just wanted to say that again.
Great points, Astro. I think as an action comic, this series is amazing. The art is outstanding and I had a blast reading this. I can't wait to visit the other issues, as I hope the story gets some time for character moments, since that's what makes the action so much fun in these stories.
Well, the runtime of the video is running out. Make sure to like and subscribe for more amazing comic reviews. Do you have anything to add, King of Candor?
Thank you all for watching this far. If you liked what you heard, give Astro a subscribe, and if you want more fantasy content, come check out my channel linked below. I'm looking forward to your candor in the comments below, and have a great day.
Amazing Astronaut reporting out.